subtract my age from the mind. Buy this car to drive to work to pay for this car. Buy this car to drive to work to work.
Welcome to Yellow Brick Road. I'm Jordan. This is James, and tonight we're going to watch Tulsi Gabbard's appearance on the Bill Maher Show. But first, please consider donating to Devon's Journey to Recovery. The link is down there in the description box. That's right, Devon's Journey to Recovery. It's charity, it's not for us. You're helping someone out when you do so please donate. GoFundMe link is down there. Now, Tulsi Gabbard had in description box, not on this seat. You're playing it out, son. I swear to God. So Tulsi Gabbard, after the first night of debates, had a soaring fucking name on Google and shit, and on Twitter. She gained a lot of notoriety, especially when she murked Tim Ryan. I believe she was number one name searched on Google, according to Google Trends. She was also number one trending on Twitter. Hey, I think it was positive publicity. Either it's someone who didn't know her and they want to find out about her, or someone who really liked what she said and wanted to find out about her.
Yeah,
that's all positive. I don't think it was much negative stuff. But yeah. So what she wants to do is take advantage of this national spotlight on I'd say a pretty large show. Bill Maher's Real Time with Bill Maher on HBO and all that. So she's going to want to impress. And we're going to be here to watch it. So, without further ado, Bill Maher sits down with Tulsi Gabbard.
Next up, she is the first female combat veteran running to be president of the United States and Hawaii's rep from the 2nd Congressional District there, Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi. Hey.
ready? Listen to it.
Great to see you.
We love you.
Wow.
Fucking fanboys.
That's not the Aloha crew out here.
That's good. Come on. Is that an organic uprising for you? Or did you bring some people with you?
No, come
really?
on.
Okay, well, I love you and I love Hawaii. I thought you did quite well.
Thank you.
I did. We're going to eliminate some people tonight, and you're not one of them. I want you to stick around. No. What do you think of the debates in general? How did you think the party in general looked?
Look, I think it's tough when you've got 60 seconds to say, well, how are you going to solve climate change?
Yeah.
How are you going to, deal with the national security threats that we face? How are you going to deal with this threat of nuclear war that we face? So, I think the format is challenging, but I think all of this really comes down to who can best defeat Donald Trump.
But those issues didn't come up a lot.
That's the problem.
Yeah, right.
Right off the bat, I don't like that answer.
Yeah.
Fuck whatever that is.
Defeat Donald Trump.
Whatever that is to let's defeat Trump shit, get it the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
You want the best ideas winning every single time. Yeah. If the best ideas win, find upgrades the next time around. That's it. Conscience first.
Yeah.
Fuck this. I need to beat him. No, you don't.
As far as I'm concerned, it's really, it's probably, if it was the best, well, I mean, ideally, right, the best possible ideas brought to the table, it'd be her and Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, without even some sort of, well, I'd say throw Ron Paul in there, and you have like a Mike Gravel in there.
Yeah.
You'd want those names arguing their ideas to find the best way. Yeah, right now.
Gravel. Yeah.
So, I mean, saying
fucking send me money and now you're able to talk. You have money. Go ahead.
Saying that it's just about beating Trump paints the image of I'm willing to compromise my values to defeat this guy. It paints that picture a little bit.
Can't do that.
Granted, we have the context of knowing about her policies and shit to maybe think that's not the case, but it's still throwing that picture out there, I think, at the very least on a subconscious level. But so let's continue.
Right.
That is the problem.
Right. Well, if I was just passing
quick.
viewer, right?
Donald Trump.
But those issues didn't come up a lot.
That's the problem.
Yeah,
Okay.
right.
That is the problem.
Right. Well, if I was just
I thought you said
passing viewer
defeating
Yeah.
Trump, that's
who was
the
like
problem.
checking over the field,
was like,
shopping, my first look at a lot of these people, I would have thought, well, the Democrats really, 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 really care about illegal immigrants. They also care somewhat about health care and energy and the environment, mostly about how they affect illegal immigrants. At one point last night, they were asked, or was it your night, to raise your hand if you think that illegal immigrants should get free health care. And they all raised their hand, and this was the New York Post headline today: "Who wants to lose the election?" What do you think about that?
Well, look, I saw an interview that you did recently.
If the whatever it is, competition's about helping humanity, then I would think you'd want to raise your hand.
Yeah.
But this is about politics, so it looks bad.
Yeah.
And
New York
as
Post, right?
yeah,
Fuck them.
and as Tulsi said, that's a problem. When it's not about the issues, it's about who looks a certain way.
Yeah. It's about playing politics, image,
Yeah,
saying the right thing at the right time.
yeah.
You know, copying someone else's policies, but not necessarily truly copying them.
Yeah. Could you imagine if someone's in trouble, like raise your hand if you would help them?
I know.
Like that's basically the question and the answer, right?
Yeah. For some people, there are not enough beds. Oh, you get those assholes out of here.
Tim, smacky lips, pool. Let's continue.
Fucking go roll down a hill or something.
Let's continue.
Talking specifically about how the media is driving for profits and ratings and divisiveness, rather than actually looking at what are the real issues that the American people are struggling with. How are we as candidates running for president seeking to solve those challenges? But ultimately, I think what all of this comes down to is that ultimate question is who is the best candidate to defeat Donald Trump? That's our objective in November of 2020.
But the people
I
on
don't
this
like that. That's our objective. Like, come on.
Are you here to help people?
I've heard you say otherwise.
Yeah. Are you
So-
using Bill Maher's stage to, let's not push it too much?
I hope this isn't one of those things where she's gonna fucking compromise everything she said prior, like she did on The View. Seemingly. What I mean is, you say
Not everything,
My
but
bad. Let me
in a particular topic.
Reword that. It's one thing that she says that compromises everything else. When she says, "Oh, Assad is a dictator," it's like, what?
Yeah. A democratically elected dictator. Very weird.
I'm not defending Assad, but it's like you're calling him a dictator. That's something that the Pentagon's like pumping out, and a bunch of people are using that as like a talking point.
And it lacks nuance.
Assad must go. He's a dictator, and Maduro, he's a dictator.
It lacks context. It lacks nuance. And you're supposed to be above that.
Yeah. So.
That's the perception I see
Oh, I expect
when people
that.
talk about
I
Tulsi
expect
Gabbard.
it. Yeah.
Let's continue.
stage, they seem to be playing to the Twitter, Roddy.
Yeah.
That 2%. One thing I like about you is, having been to war, I feel like your attitude about the Twitter people is like, I've been to war, so like I could give a shit what you people say about me.
Pretty much it.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't care. I don't care about this.
It's true, though. I mean,
It's interesting.
this is really about leadership or the lack thereof. And we have too many politicians who, put their finger up to the Twitter wind and see which way it's blowing,
Right.
and then respond or change their position or whatever the case may be.
Tim Pool? It's snowing outside. I will now favor mittens.
And ear muffs. Oh, it is warm outside. I will now.
What's that cereal with the frog on it? Remember that cereal?
No.
Smacks, or what is it called?
Smacks.
Corn Smacks or some shit like
Corn
that.
smacks.
I forgot the name of it.
Dude, he's a bowl of Cheerios.
I'm gonna look it up. after
Corn
this.
smack.
Let's continue.
chords.
rather than actually leading, looking at these issues based on their merit, on their substance,
just wait,
saying
little shit.
what is in the best interest of the American people. That's what I try to do. And
listening.
honestly, people have a hard time figuring me out because I don't play those games.
Right.
I don't fit in those boxes that they set up.
Right.
That I agree with, and that is worth celebrating. Honey smacks. Good, because I didn't want to call him honey. Anyways, let's continue.
And I mean,
call 'em corn
politicians have always put their finger to the wind. That's okay to some point. You're supposed to represent, to a degree, the people who voted for you. But put your finger up to the 98%, not the 2%. If you're going to put your finger in the wind, don't do it to the 2% wind, is my request. Okay. So what do you think of Putin? This all got buried because of the debates.
Yeah.
Trump is in Japan. He met with Putin. Loved it, of course. His spirit animal. I mean, he was joking about the fact that Putin meddled in our election. Some reporter said, "Are you going to tell President Putin not to meddle in the election?" He made a joke out of it.
Probably mocking it, not making a joke that the fact that he did it. It's like, nah, he's probably mocking the whole thing. It's not true.
Yeah.
I mean, the evidence is, I don't know, but the evidence shows that he didn't.
Yeah.
And he'll pander to his audience. See, they're trying to lie to you.
Yeah,
They're wrong
he's
about me,
using
I'm a
this
hero.
as ammo. You're helping him.
Yeah. So, come on, Bill.
He made a joke out of the fact he said something about reporters, fake news. We have to deal with that. You're lucky in Russia, you don't. Which, Putin has killed, by some accounts, over 20 journalists. So get it? Haha. I mean, this is just beyond the pale.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we have to take seriously the security of our elections because of the vulnerabilities that exist still now that really have the ability to undermine our democracy. There's a hacking conference that's held every year in Las Vegas where I think a 14 or 15-year-old girl from Florida hacked into a replica of Florida's election
Probably
system
younger,
in
I
less
think.
than 15 minutes. There are too many states in this country who still don't use any type of paper ballot or have any paper record of the votes that are cast. So when you think about whether it's a foreign country or a rogue actor or a high school student who's going in with the intent of manipulating the outcome of the votes that we cast, that is the true danger to our democracy and to our elections. I've introduced legislation called the Securing America's Elections Act that would very simply solve that. Make sure that there's either a paper ballot or if you're using a machine, have a voter-verified paper backup so that no matter what happens, no matter who tries to interfere in our elections, we have the ability to audit that and make sure
Republicans
that
wouldn't vote for it?
the problem is that whether it's Republicans in leadership or Democrats in leadership, they're talking about how much they care about the security of our elections, but they've failed to do anything about it. They've failed to pass my legislation or other people who've introduced similar pieces of legislation. It's all talk. It's not
amazing
action.
to me how the Republicans can see
So I would call that a good answer. Not the best answer, because if I'm in that seat, I'm like, why are you pushing all this Russia shit? But she, instead of doing that, she avoided that in order to make a stand about her legislation.
Yeah.
About, okay, here's how you put it, kaput. No worrying about hacking elections when we have this here. Paper ballots. Fucking write your name on a piece of paper instead of some computerized thing that can be hacked from whatever. It's not writing your name on a piece of paper, but you get what I mean. Something a little more tangible for people. A little less digital, more tangible. So, in political terms, that's a good answer. Push your legislation as a way to mitigate any type of Russian blah, 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 which I'm not so sure she believes in. I don't think she does.
Oh, I think there's videos out there that show she doesn't.
Yeah, I think she said
Absolutely not.
she doesn't. Yeah. So, she found a way to, in political terms, she found a way to not offend the crowd and Bill Maher, while also giving an answer, which is what she should be doing in the debates. Right? That first question, she sort of, I would say she fucked up on when she just tried to get her message out immediately instead of like, it's like turn it into the thing you really want to talk about, right? Equal pay for women, turn that shit around Turn your foreign policy thing into that.
Well, it's funny how foreign policy can really like directly like affect every fucking thing, every little fucking thing.
Yeah. How do we pay for it?
What about our economy? Foreign policy. See how it affects your economy?
Exactly.
Oh, equal.
Just like she turned this question around.
Yeah.
He wanted. I don't know if he was
Immigration,
purposely
foreign
doing. I don't know if Bill Maher was purposely doing this, but it was sort of bait to go into the whole Russia-Trump thing,
Looked like
and
it.
she avoided that completely. Let's continue.
See a display like that of Trump with Putin. He's done this before, but you know, with the American flag pin.
Yeah.
I think you got to take that pin off if you're okay with that.
Look, getting back to what our mission is, what our focus is putting the interests of the American people above all else. And that is the problem with Washington. Whether it's one party or the other party, they'll go after the other party while they turn a blind eye to the problems of their own, rather than putting the people first.
Yeah, I know.
See? Nice and simple. Turned it around. No problem. That's what she's got to do at the debates. She got lucky that dude fucking brought up the Taliban and Al-Qaeda and shit, and Taliban flying their planes into our buildings and blah, blah, blah. It's like, she got a little lucky with that. She also had a decent answer somewhere in the middle where she brought up Bolton, Trump, chicken hawks. Not bad, but that would go over most people's heads. The last part was just a wreckage that people can obviously see.
Yeah.
So she's got to do shit like this in the debates. Let's continue.
So one place where you're fairly similar to Trump is you're a non-interventionist.
Yeah.
I mean, you see this with Iran lately. He's kind of torn. You know, part of him, of course, always wants to strike back. But he has kind of staked his claim, foreign affairs-wise, on being the guy who does not want us to get into more wars, more regime change wars. You're on that same page.
Yeah, people don't want to talk about like the fucking sanctions and how he's antagonizing.
Yeah.
Like goading Iran into doing something. Like, what are you gonna do? It's literally like.
That's basically what she's about to say.
Okay.
She doesn't use the word sanctions, but she says every little step you're taking is leading
I'm just
right.
saying. There's a difference between like direct warfare and like economic warfare.
Yeah.
And he'll fall on that because no one's looking at that.
Yeah.
But you're not bombing them. He doesn't have to. He doesn't have to bomb. You don't have to bomb anybody to have war.
Oh. Since James spoiled you, let's play the clip. He has no timing with things. He's just like, let me say it. I can't hold it back. Come on.
I'll say what needs to be said.
We can say it after we get the context.
Nope.
Whatever. Let's continue.
He talked a lot about that in his 2016 campaign. But through his administration and through his presidency, we've seen something very different. I think that's why a lot of folks who voted for him they feel very betrayed.
Why? What wars has he got us into?
You mentioned Iran. He says he doesn't want to go to war with Iran. But if you look at the actions that he and his administration have taken, and maybe he's not aware of it, maybe these guys are doing it on their own, John Bolton, Mike Pompeo, and others, but every single...
Fucking doubt that. I mean, I think he's a puppet, for sure. 100% a puppet. But I doubt they're just doing shit behind his back. He's like, whoa, what are we doing? How did we end up in war here? Let's be real, Tulsi.
Decision that they have made towards Iran is laying the groundwork for an eventual war.
But we're not there yet. And he could have done it last week when they shot down the drone. And he said something which I think if Obama had said it, we would have liked, which was, hey, we don't know who made that order. That's what Kennedy said in the Cuban Missile Crisis.
That's right.
Let's not be rash.
Trump really doesn't...
That's not the case, right? Trump said he was ready to go and then pulled back in the last second. So he built it up first and then pulled it back. So, pause. Let's be real about that. It wasn't some, oh, who's doing that? I can't see them. Oh, there they are. Stop it. He built it up first. Straight up. The actual attack, he built it up, saw how many casualties there'd be, and then he pulled back.
Want to go to war with Iran. He's got to swallow his pride and get back into the Iran nuclear deal.
Swallow his pride. That's not going to happen.
No, because if he doesn't, I mean, if he doesn't, John Bolton and Mike Pompeo and others, I mean, they have literally laid the dynamite and lit the fuse.
One thing about him, he's the boss.
Yeah.
You know, he doesn't care what other people say.
Okay.
So where are you on impeachment?
Impeachment is not going to get rid of Donald Trump.
No?
We've got to understand that first.
Probably.
It's realistically, it's
So
not.
you're
gonna-
a
it's
no
not,
on that yet?
No, because I think it's important that the American people are the ones who decisively defeat Donald Trump in 2020.
Okay. That's the debate in your party.
Yeah.
Good luck with the campaign.
And last answer, really good. That's a very good answer. Because then, let's say they impeach Trump. You're going to have a shitload of Trump fans out like, no, they fucking cheated us and blah, blah, blah. Just have it legitimately happen. Like, legitimately get him the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Then it's like, oh, you guys can't say shit.
Yeah.
This is just a better candidate than yours. Anything else would look like cheating or unfair, and they'd be holding on to it for years, trying to get another Trump in office. Meanwhile, they're just sabotaging their own, growth, unless there's like another corporate Democrat. In which case, them cheering for another Trump would make sense.
Yeah.
But I don't see that as happening unless they get Elizabeth Warren or Kamala Harris in office or Mayor Pete in office, rather than a Tulsi Gabbard or a Bernie Sanders. Mainly Bernie Sanders. If he doesn't fucking win, it's like,
I'll be very
fuck.
surprised if he does not win.
That's trouble. But, all right, anything left to say? You want a grader?
No.
I think she did pretty good. Pretty good in a political sense. By my standards,
more.
she did all right. By my standards. Just the whole defeat Trump no matter what thing. Or the way it sounded like that. So it's like, that's kind of bad.
More.
Yeah,
I
of
need
course.
more. Yeah.
Of course. But that last answer, the Iran answer,
I wanted more specifics, man.
yeah, she could do
So
that.
when
but
I said sanctions, I didn't hear that. I was like,
well, she
it
said,
laid the groundwork. I'm like,
I understand that, but
Nope.
if she means that, but doesn't say that, it's like, all right.
that's big.
Yeah, you got to inform your audience. but
I hate warfare. I don't like fighting. Yeah, you do. You're putting sanctions on them. You're killing people. Well, sanctions kill. They have killed people before. So what do you think you're doing when you have a population who you're threatening constantly, and now you put sanctions on them? Not only in that, as far as impending fucking physical threat, now there's fucking economic war going on. Now what? There's pictures out there what they do. A long time ago, people criticized Bush Sr. because he put sanctions on countries as well, and fucking there's pictures what happened to them.
oh, yeah.
So, I don't like fighting. Yeah, you do. He's pro-war. That's why I want to hear that. I can hear that.
Yeah.
I would have went with that. Maybe some more examples. Hey, Venezuela, like what he did over there. Oh, that was him. You hired him, you dumb fuck. You hired him. So.
But I say, for what I think the type of person she is, I give her an all right by my standards. Not me there. If I'm sitting there, that's a different story. Then I'd be way below my standards. But for her, me thinking she's a typical conditioned social person, being a politician, she did all right. It's what it is. All right. That is it from us. Please subscribe if you like. Comment, agree, disagree. Send us content, whatever the fuck you want to do. We will react to videos you send us if you ask and if it's not just trolling or some silly video. Thank you, Muay Thai, for that. Donate. Devon's Journey to Recovery. The GoFundMe link is down there in the description box. Not my dick and not his dick. Do you have a dick? No, I'm saying just not my dick.
Yeah.
Down there, description box. GoFundMe account for Devon's Journey to Recovery. And with all that said, give this video a thumbs down. Wrong button.
Say you wanna get in.